Hello and welcome to Kogi in Focus, a weekly program that reviews activities and happenings in and around the Nigeria confluent state, Kogi, within the past 7 days. I am Khadijat Mohammed. In today's edition, Kogi Governor Bello meets President Muhammadu Buhari over establishment of airport in the state. Kogi gets World Bank $5 million for sound and sustainable budget implementation. Governor Bello approved the participation of Arts Council for just 2020 NEFAS. And Kogi State Government restricts heavy-duty trucks plying Ajaokuta-Ganaja route. This and more after this break. Don't go away. Welcome back. Kogi State Governor Yahya Bello has appealed for support in the areas of establishing an airport in Kogi as well as the dredging of River Niger up to Lokoja in order to boost the economy of the state and the country at large. He disclosed this to State House correspondents after meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari at the presidential villa. He also stated that the youth of the state are happy with President Buhari's introduction of various social investment programs aimed at eradicating poverty among Nigerians. He made a demand to the president that the pronounced airports to be established in Kogi State be looked into when funds will be released. Governor Bello also raised his concern over dredging of confluent rivers. He condemned bread tax, promised those behind the purported law to be reviewed and queried accordingly. The governor also announced that his administration had since launched a post-COVID-19 relief package of over 1.56 billion naira for citizens of the state to cushion the effects of the pandemic. He, however, noted that there was no COVID-19 in Kogi, buttressing his earlier stance of the pandemic. Nigeria has officially slid into its worst economic recession in over 3 decades. According to the cable news, considering the gross domestic product numbers released by the National Bureau of Statistics on Saturday, the nation recorded a contraction of 3.62% in the third quarter of 2020. This is the second consecutive quarterly GDP decline since the recession of 2016. The cumulative GDP for the first 9 months of 2020, therefore, stood at -2.48%. The last time Nigeria recorded such cumulative GDP was in 1987, when GDP declined by 10.8%. According to World Bank and NBS, figures monitored by the cable, this is also the second recession under President Muhammadu Buhari's democratic reign. This recession bothers all Nigerians, but Kogi State Governor Bello had spoken like a prophet of our time but was not taken seriously. The researcher says if only we had listened to warnings from Governor Yahya Bello, we would not be experiencing this today. The Kogi State Governor had several times warned against the effect of completely locking down the economy. According to the National Longitudinal Survey on the Socio-Economic Effects of COVID-19 on Nigerian households conducted by the NBS in August, about 1 in 4 households were already indebted prior to the pandemic, while nearly 1/3 have taken out new loans since the onset of the pandemic. The economic situation of Nigeria remains precarious. Even months after the lockdown restrictions were loosened, we shouldn't have lockdown in the first place. The concerns of Governor Yahya Bello are: why lock down an African country because of a virus that has over 99% recovery rate? Why lock down a country when livelihoods are not sustainable? What do we say now about the crumbling figures amidst a reopened economy? A virus that accommodates mass protests and looting, but dangerous for family meetings, worship gatherings, and open businesses. The world has continued to suffer from the effects of the unsolicited lockdown imposed on us. A reason to say, if only we listen to the little voices of Governor Yahya Bello and all who stood tall and alone to fight for the people. Right now, the number of Nigerians experiencing moderate or severe food and financial challenges have continued to increase from about 68% in August 2020. Indebted households reported that 55% of the loans were obtained from friends, or relatives. The NBS reported that the overall share of respondents who are working is back to pre-pandemic levels. However, 6% of the respondents have not worked at all since the pandemic began, while 60% have experienced periods without work, which, according to the NBS, indicates instability in the job market. Inflation rate is on the very high side, and we've hit our worst recession in 30 years. We shouldn't have lockdown. The World Bank has released to Kogi State the sum of $5 million for achieving 90% of the budget implementation procedure as of November. The money released by the World Bank to the state is prize money for establishing a fiscally sustainable policy, which was disclosed by the Kogi State Commissioner for Finance, Budget and Economic Planning, Asiwaju Asiru Idris. The Commissioner made the disclosure at a one-day board sensitization town hall meeting for Nigeria's second peer review organized by the Presidency, NEPAD and APRM Kogi State Office held in Lokoja. Similarly, the Commissioner explained that the World Bank money was earned by the state for being reliable and responsive to COVID-19 through an amended COVID-19 responsive 2020 budget. Asiwaju Asiru Idris confirmed the receipt of 1.9 billion naira as money already received by the state government as prize money for meeting SFTAS indicators. He commended APRM for its pursuit of the highest possible standard of good political, economic and corporate governance and broad sustainable socio-economic development. Reason the state puts together the participatory and transparent town hall meeting of stakeholders. Asiru commended Governor BELLO for making transparency, accountability and sustainability a policy priority, described the feat achieved by the state as unprecedented. The Commissioner also commended Governor BELLO for giving approval and full support aimed at providing necessary logistics and material support for the State Office of NEPAD and APRM and the country team towards achieving their objectives. He commended the staff and all MDAs in the state, said it was their effort in implementation of the policy of the present administration is behind the feats achieved by the state. He added that the money released to the state will be used for education, health, agriculture, and improving infrastructure, as well as embarking on social programs to cushion the effects of COVID-19 on the people. Recall that Kogi State achieved 100% in the APA 2019 assessment by SFTAS. SFTAS is a $750 million program of the federal government aimed at rewarding states for meeting any or all of 9 indicators that demonstrate improvements in state fiscal transparency, accountability and sustainability. The Kogi State government has served an official query on the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Usman Ibrahim, for official misconduct over the recent widely spread report of bread levy allegedly introduced by the state government. In a letter signed by the head of service Kogi State government, Deborah Ogumola, the affected official was directed to respond within 24 hours to show cause why disciplinary action should not be taken against him for gross misconduct. The head of service stated that the concerned official on the 9th of November 2020 signed a letter addressed to the chairman, Association of Master Bakers and Caterers of Nigeria, Kogi State branch, on the subject of introducing an identified consulting company and levies on bread to all bakers and caterers doing business in and across the state. Ogunmola added that the investigation revealed that the official acted without obtaining the approval of the Honorable Minister of the Ministry and could not provide any file documenting the approval for the dissemination of such information. The head of service stipulated that despite the official's denial, his actions contravene the provisions of Public Service Rules, Section 4, Subsection 1, and which might lead to his dismissal from the service if found Governor Yahya Bello approved the participation of the Kogi State Council for Arts and Culture in the 33rd edition of the National Festival for Arts and Culture holding in Jos, Plateau State from 21st to 28th of November 2020. The governor charged the Kogi State contingent to be of good character, showcase the rich arts, cultural and mineral resources around in the state at the event and bring back laurels. The Commissioner Salifu is confident in the level of adequate preparation of the artists, assured Governor Bello of quality output at the event. The festival is an annual event that brings all the State Council for Arts and Culture in the Federation together to compete on a selected theme. This is aimed at delivering excellence, encourage innovation, promote and develop all aspects of our culture, indigenous skills and creativity. Despite the challenges of the new normal, in their separate remarks during the visual meeting of commissioners, permanent secretaries and directors of culture and tourism in the 36 states of the Federation, the Director General National Council for Arts and Culture, Otumba Segun Ronsewe, and the Governor of Plateau State, Simon Bako Lalong, assured the participants of the spectacular, historic and secured event. They stressed further that the festival will be a point of reference in an organization and showcasing in line with the COVID-19 pandemic protocols. The state government, through the Office of the Public Defender and Citizens' Rights Commission, PDCR, has constituted a special committee to receive and rapidly resolve complaints of brutalities by law enforcement officials such as SARS, police and others. Complaints of illegal arrest, wrongful detention, as well as acts amounting to violation or infringement of human rights of residents of Kogi State should be reported to the committee. The Director General Public Defender and Citizens' Rights Commission, PDCRC, Abdullahi Zakari, gave the charge in a press statement released to journalists in Lokoja. Accordingly, residents of the state and the general public with such complaints have been called upon by the Commission to write a formal letter of complaint in respect of all or any of the instances of human rights abuses and brutalities by the law enforcement agencies. The statement directed that such letter or letters of complaints should be addressed to the Secretary, Human Rights Special Intervention Groups, HRSIG, at Room 13, New Secretariat Complex, Lokoja. Notably, 23rd of November to 7th of December 2020, between the hours of 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. daily, have been reserved for complaints and petitions. The Commission, in line with its mandate, is positioned and determined to ensuring the protection of human rights of all residents in the state. The public is urged to report all cases of human rights violations to the Commission. Kogi State Ministry of Education, Science and Technology has announced the revised date for the conduct of Basic Education Certificate examination in the state. The Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Emmanuel Ideni, made this disclosure shortly after a management meeting held in his office to appraise the conduct of the 2020 Common Entrance Examination and First School Living Certificate examination, recently held in the state. According to the Permanent Secretary, the conduct of Basic Education Certificate examination has been scheduled to take place between Tuesday 24th of November 2020 to Wednesday 2nd December 2020. He then also disclosed that the Lokoja Custodian Center at St. Luke Primary School has been relocated to the conference hall of the ministry's headquarters, Lokoja, to ensure proper monitoring at the center. He urged all the key stakeholders to take note of this development and sustain their usual support to ensure a smooth and credible conduct of the exercise. Governor of Kogi State Yahya Bello assured the newly deployed 2020 Batch B's Team 1A members of the National Youth Service Corps (NYSC) of their safety, insisting the deadly coronavirus pandemic has been demystified in the state and they should feel free to have a breath of fresh air. The governor made the disclosure at NYSC Permanent Orientation Camp Kaba during the official opening and swearing-in ceremony of the scheme. Bello, who was represented by his deputy Edward Onoja, admonished the corps members to go into the society, various community and begin to live the creed. He promised to pay a sum of 10,000 naira each to all serving corps members in the state as an additional allowance to the 33,000 naira monthly stipend by the federal government. The youth governor also urged the corps members to live and create the nation they desire by doing less of talking and more of actions. Edward admonished the newly sworn members of the corps to be good exemplary citizens by adding values to the community where they will be posted for their primary assignments. Following the ongoing reconstruction on Ganaja Junction to Ganaja Village Road and the effort of the state government to ensure free flow of traffic and forestall security breaches on the highway, the Kogi state government had issued an order on the restriction of movement of heavy-duty trucks from plying Ganaja-Ajakuta route from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. with effect from Friday 20th of November 2020. If you are just joining us, the program is Kogi in Focus, weekly package to brief you all government activities, people and happenings within the week. For your contribution, information, or you want your event to be covered and aired on this program, please call the number or reach us via our social media handles displayed on your screen. The Ajua Metro ruling house has preferred candidates of a former officer of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Prince Samuel Opaluwa, to occupy the stool of Ata Igala. The stakeholders of Ajua Metro, which is due to produce the next Ata Igala in accordance with the Kogi State Chieftaincy Law and the Igala Native Custom, met in Ida and announced that it has unanimously chosen Prince Samuel Opaluwa as the family's candidate for the exalted throne. The meeting, which was convened by the head of the Ajua Metro ruling house, Prince Jacob Yahya Etu, a retired Deputy Commissioner of Police, as required by the Kogi State Chieftaincy Law, screened, interviewed and considered 3 main candidates who had indicated interest in the stool. They are Princes Samuel Opaluwa, Matthew Alhaji Opaluwa, a director with the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and Ocholi Opaluwa, a high-ranking custom officer. Etu, addressing the stakeholders of the clan, said the family had unanimously agreed on Samuel Opaluwa being the eldest among the sons of Opaluwa Oguche. He said the family had so far consciously acted in full compliance with Kogi State, Igala Area Traditional Council, Modification of Native Law and Custom Order 2015 and traditional precedents, which gives the exclusive right to nominate an Ata to the ruling family that is due to produce the Ata. The Kogi State Chieftaincy Law and the Igala tradition envisages that the contest for the Ata stool be between candidates from the ruling whose turn it is to present a candidate. A group under the aegis of Righteous Onlookers Association has appealed to the National Security Advisor, Major General Babagana Monguno, retired, to prevail on Kogi State government to put in place procedure for the appointment of a substantive chief imam of Ebira Central Mosque in order to avoid recurring crises rocking the mosque over imamship tussle. The appeal was contained in a letter addressed to the Office of the National Security Advisor titled Security Alarm, the Pending Leadership, Imamship Crisis at Okene Central Jumat Mosque, signed by the patron of the association, Ahmed Adoke. Copies which was made available to newsmen in Okene. Adoke lamented that the yet-to-be-resolved imamship crisis has pitched 2 Islamic groups, the Tijaniya and Ansarul Islamic Society of Nigeria, in the area against each other as a result of disagreements on the mode of ascension to the position of Chief Imam of the Central Jumat Mosque in Okene, Kogi State. According to him, His concern is that instead of addressing the mode of ascension that has generated palpable tension and crisis, Kogi State government waded in and appointed one of the contenders as acting chief imam for an indefinite period, thus giving the appointee an undue advantage over other contenders, a situation that seems to have generated more tension in the land. He pointed out that part of the consequences of Kogi State government's action was the recent violent clash between supporters of the two Islamic groups, putting the area in an unnecessary apprehension. While calling on the state governor Yahya Bello to, as a matter of urgency, do the needful to avoid further crises that can snowball into massive killings and destructions of property, Advocate cautioned that religious crises can be more dangerous than political crises if urgent steps are not taken. He further stressed that as much as he appreciated and commended the quick intervention of the state governor, immediately after the demise of late Chief Imam Musa Galadima, they still appeal to the governor and other Islamic authority to act promptly in order to avert further crises against the existing peace they are enjoying in Kogi State. While appealing to the two warring Islamic sects to exercise utmost restraint in the interest of peace and the comfort of Islam that both parties propagate, Advocate drew the attention of those fueling the crisis directly or indirectly to bear in mind that the consequences of any crisis cannot be underestimated, noting that no one can predict the end result. The chairman of Kogi State Independent Electoral Commission, KOSIEC, Maman Indayeri, was honored with the Icon of Humanitarian Service 2020 award by the ECOWAS Youth Parliament. The award, being the third conferred on Eri, was like the others, given in recognition of his promotion of youth groups and his excellent performance in office. Receiving the award in his office, the youth-friendly chairman, who was visibly humbled by the presentation, said he was elated to have been distinguished in such manner. He said the award will spur him to do more for youth organizations in the state and other parts of the country. Eri dedicated the award to the advancement of the African youth groups, a laudable cause for which the awardee stands. Earlier, the leader of EYP, Olasukomi Kolawole, said Eri was considered the best personality for the award because of his immense contributions to the development of youth associations in Nigeria. Kolawole described Eri as an upright and committed leader who delivers on his mandate excellently with absolute display of ultimate responsibility. Present at the award presentation were the commissioner in charge of research and documentation, Labaran Oigebe, and the commissioner in charge of legal matters, Barrister Umar Abdul Malik, both members of KOSIEC. Kogi State Governor Yahya Bello has sent his hearty congratulations to the governor of Yobe State, Meiman Labuni, on the occasion of his 53rd birthday anniversary, describing him as a great bridge builder and an astute political icon. Bello, in a congratulatory message released by his chief press secretary, Onogun Mohammed, said he was impressed with the sterling leadership acumen of Governor Meiman Labuni. He described Meiman Labuni as a personal friend and brother from another mother who had always identified with him and the good people of Kogi State each time the occasion demands. According to the governor, the astronomical rise of Meiman Labuni from the position of the National Secretary of the All Progressive Congress to the position of Governor of Yobe State during the 2019 general election was a clear testament of his political prowess and astuteness. He described Meiman Labuni as a great asset not only to the people of Yobe State but Nigeria as a whole. As the National Secretary of the APC, he worked assiduously to ensure the victory of President Muhammadu Buhari at the 2015 and 2019 elections and also ensured that APC won overwhelmingly at the various states and the National Assembly seats. Governor Bello said since he was appointed as chairman of the Caretaker Committee, Extraordinary Convention Planning of the APC, he has proven to be a great leader through whose efforts which has dulled the rising tensions and crises that almost tore the APC into shred. The efforts of his committee in reconciling aggrieved members of the party are commendable, as that has brought some level of stability into APC party. Governor Bello said as he clocked 53, he prayed the Almighty Allah grants May Malabuni long life, more wisdom and strength to contribute more to the progress of Yobe State and Nigeria at large. Over 50 people have been reportedly killed following an outbreak of a strange illness in Ete, Olamaboro local government area of Kogi State. The member representing Olamaboro constituency, Anthony Uja, made this known while moving a motion of urgent public importance on the floor of the State House of Assembly in Lokoja. Uja, who noted that those affected were mostly in the reproductive age of 25 to 40 years, says the incident has caused untold hardship on the people of the community, who were mostly farmers. According to him, symptoms of the disease include headache, red eye, inability to urinate, convulsion, and continuous stooling. The lawmaker appealed to the State Ministry of Health to carry out tests of the strange diseases in the community to ascertain the remote cause of the deaths. He also called for the provision of palliative to the people of Ete who could no longer go to farm. The Speaker, Matthew Kolawole, in his ruling, directed the Health Ministry to partner with the Federal Ministry of Health to unravel the remote cause of the deaths. The Kogi State Ministry of Health has denied the alleged strange deaths over 50 persons in Ete community of Olamaboro local government area. The Commissioner for Health, Dr. Saka Haruna, who made the denial in a press statement in Lokoja, noted that the claim of strange deaths in the area is unfounded. The Commissioner maintained that the State Ministry of Health has focal persons, informants in strategic locations across the state who pass the information on diseases of public health interest to the Disease Surveillance and Notification Officer, DSNO, at the local government level. The DSNO-LG then transferred this report through the DSNO to the state epidemiologist, who in turn brings such cases to his attention. He said the ministry is kept abreast at all times of happenings in every part of the state through its chains of officers on the field, saying that it was therefore impossible for an incident of that magnitude, as claimed, to pass unnoticed. Saka said with the media report from Enugu State Commissioner for Health confirming an outbreak of yellow fever in that state, the Kogi State Ministry Rapid Response Team, accompanied by WHO officials, was sent to Ete communities that share borders with Enugu State, without waiting for the usual channel of communication, as a proactive measure. He said the ministry made available the rapid response toll-free lines to the people of the community, as well as health workers and heads of institutions, to draw the attention of the ministry to any occurrence of strange deaths or deaths occurring in excess of what was the norm. Adding that at time of releasing this statement, nobody has reached out to the ministry. Saka said, as a matter of fact, they have been having telephone conversations with their contacts in that region, and there was no report of any mysterious death or outbreak of strange disease in Kogi State. He therefore allayed the fears of the people, advising them to go about their normal businesses and report any case of strange illness or death through their dedicated toll-free lines that have been circulated. He said they should be rest assured that the administration of Yahya Bello remains committed to putting their health first as always, and will continue to support the State Ministry of Health to put every machinery in place to protect the people from yellow fever and any other disease outbreak. The statement encouraged the people of the state to play their part by maintaining personal and environmental hygiene and prevent mosquito bites. Saka urged the people to thoroughly clear their surroundings, use insecticide-treated nets, clear drainages, and prevention of water lodging around residential areas. This is where we draw the curtain on the week edition. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel to always get updates of our weekly edition of Kogi in Focus. Our appreciation goes to all media organizations whose work formed part of our news review update, Kogi in Focus, reaching everywhere, informing everyone. Until next week, when we will be coming your way with another package of the program, do continue to do to others what you want them to do to you. I remain Khadijat Muhammad. Have a pleasant week.